Morning peeps, good morning everyone, how's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. Let's just get to the main talking point straight away here, and that is Mr. Dillian White, the body snatcher, is back. Interesting, right? Apologies if I go all over the place here, but there is a lot to unpack. Dillian White announced it on his Instagram. I say announced it, he just put a little video up and just said, I'm back. Bear in mind, we haven't heard from Dillian White since he was supposed to fight Anthony Joshua. That was August of last year. Obviously, we know that he failed a drugs test, but we haven't heard anything since then. I do think a statement was released from Dillian White. I can't remember sort of the wording of the statement, but that was it. I follow Dillian White, as I'm guessing most of you do, on Instagram, and he hasn't even posted about boxing. He posts a little bit. Obviously, he manages a few fighters, so he manages Fabio Wardley, so he's posted a few Fabio Wardley interviews. He manages Thomas Carty, he posted a few clips with Thomas Carty, but in terms of himself, nothing. Not him hitting a bag, not him doing any sparring. It's only just been him on his bikes, walking his dogs. That's it. We haven't heard from Dillian White until now. Obviously, look, Dillian White hasn't been in the ring for a long time. The last time Dillian White was in the ring was Jermaine Franklin, and that wasn't the best performance. Dillian White for the last 3 or 4 years has been very inactive. So Dillian White had, I believe, one fight in 2020. That was the one that he had with Povetkin when he got stopped in Eddie Hearn's back garden. Then he had one fight in 2021, the rematch against Povetkin. Then he was obviously waiting, going back and forth with the WBC for his right to fight Tyson Fury. He had that fight in 2022. When was that? April 2022. And then obviously Jermaine Franklin in November 2022. So it's not been a busy period at all for Dillian White. And obviously he lost out on this Anthony Joshua fight. He has lost out on millions. Like millions. Like, I'm guessing, look, AJ, he would have got paid 7 figures, right? Definitely 7 figures. And unless he got absolutely starched in that fight, knocked out early, he would have been in Saudi cashing in like a lot of these heavyweights as well. Like he would definitely have been on one of these heavyweight fight cards. So he's lost out on a lot. Look, I'm guessing, and Dillian White's team, don't sue me, this is just me guessing right now. I'm guessing if he's back now and he was supposed to fight AJ, when was that fight? August 12th? Yeah, August 12th. Today's February 29th. That's roughly 6 months, right? Roughly 6 months, give or take a couple of weeks. I'm guessing there was a little ban, a 6-month ban, and now the ban is over and he's okay to compete again. That's the only way I can understand why he's been out the ring for this long and been radio silent. That's the only way. Like, he's almost just taken it on the chin and not said anything. And maybe that's the way to go. Maybe that's the way to go. What's interesting, in the comment section of the video he's put up on his Instagram, it's actually quite positive. And us Brits, definitely Brits, are very harsh on people that fail PED tests. Very, very hard. But he doesn't seem to be getting much grief for it at all. And maybe it's because he hasn't said anything. Maybe he's just accepted it and just thought, you know what, let me just live my life, accept the ban. And here we are now, which is interesting because obviously, look at the Conor Benn situation, which I know is a bit different, but both of them, when you strip all the nonsense back, both of them are a case of failed test, right? And you look at the Conor Benn situation, and because Conor Benn went very, he's almost got the complete opposite of Dillian White, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, it's an interesting sort of dynamic, the way in which people have responded to Dillian White and the way in which people have responded to Conor Benn. But yeah, look, Dillian White is back. There is no announcement on that video about when he's back. Again, he's been out the ring a long time. Jermaine Franklin, as I said, November 2022. So if you're Dillian White, it's a case of getting back and getting back in now. Like, again, it's his own fault, but he's unfortunate that he's missed this Riyadh season run because, I mean, it's been predominantly heavyweight cards and Dillian White would have been on that. I have no idea, by the way, and I was just thinking this before doing the video, like where Dillian White is as a heavyweight. Like for a long time, Dillian White was a top 10 heavyweight for a long time. There was a time there was a time when some were thinking he was creeping into that top 5 discussion. I was always sort of against that. I was like, okay, top 10. But there were some solid wins. That little run that he had of Chisora, Parker, Oscar Rivas, even though there's a bit of an exclamation mark with that. But that was a decent run. It was like, okay, well, Dillian Whyte's a bit of a problem here. Beat Hellenius as well in that run. But now I have no idea. I have no idea what opponent he comes back and fights. Dillian Whyte, I think, is a couple of years older than AJ. So he's not a spring chicken either. How old is Dillian Whyte? 35. When's he going to be 36? 36 in a couple of months, April. He needs to get a move on. But look, I guess, let me throw it back to you guys. Are we okay with this? Are we fine with this? Again, I know Brits are very, very... I feel like the Americans and non-Brits watching this will be like, yeah, man, he served his time, cool. But I know Brits are very, very tough on people when it comes to PD usage. And so... they should be. But are you okay with him coming back after he served his ban, right? I think he served the ban. And who do you want to see him fight? Those are two interesting questions. Who would you like to see? The good thing and lucky thing for Dillian Whyte, there are so many heavyweight fights now to be made. So many. Like, would you not want to see a Dillian Whyte, Jarrell Miller? Do you know what I mean? That there are so many. It doesn't have to be him fighting the top dogs. Him just fighting guys that are sort of around where he is, a top 15 heavyweight maybe. Those fights will be fun. But yeah, that kind of news broke yesterday. All right, what else is there to talk about? Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia hasn't improved since his amateur days. I don't know about that. I mean, Ryan Garcia's got a couple of solid wins on his resume. I think people sleep on those wins. Like Luke Campbell's a solid win. I picked Luke to beat him. Luke, up until that point, had only been beaten by Loma and Jorge Linares, in my brain. Yeah, and the Loma one wasn't easy work for Loma, and the Linares one, I think, was a split decision defeat. So that was a good win against Luke Campbell. He still does things, though, Ryan, I will say, that kind of just baffle me. Like that kind of Floyd Mayweather shoulder roll against Oscar Duarte, but I didn't know what was going on there. I mean, I was there ringside, I was watching it, and me and Ak and Barak from DAZN were like, what's he doing? Like, what's he doing? I don't know. Was he trying to protect the rib that was supposedly hurt before and during the Gervonta Davis fight, or was he trying something out? But it didn't work. But look, he got the job done in the end. I think this will be a bit more competitive than people think. I know everyone's high on Devin Haney, and rightly so. The Prograis fight was fantastic. But Gervonta hurt Ryan, hurt him bad, hurt him early in that fight, put him down, was it the second round? I don't know if Devon's got that kind of pop. Well, in fact, Devon hasn't got that pop. He's got timing, and timing can help. But I don't think he'll be as tentative to walk towards and through Devon as he was when he got hurt by Gervonta. I think he will be a lot more aggressive, and who knows how that can play out. Amanda Serrano's story has at least one more glorious chapter. Yeah, Amanda Serrano fights this weekend. I don't know if it's her first fight in Puerto Rico, but it's good to see her getting the love right now. I hope for her to have one more super fight in her. This is no disrespect to the opponent she's been fighting recently, but we need a super fight. They should have. It's criminal that Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor 2 didn't happen. Absolute criminal. And now I don't know if it will, especially with Katie now at 140. I don't know if Katie's going to ever come back down to 135, and Serrano's obviously doing her work at a lower weight class as well. So I'm not quite sure. I don't know what the super fight is. I kind of said Baumgardner before. That was the one that could probably and should still be the one. But obviously Baumgardner's had their issues recently outside the ring as well. So yeah, I'm not sure. But look, I wish her all the luck in the world. Massive fan of her. I think I've told you guys the story of, I don't really even know her like that. I've always given her plaudits when on air, but I went for dinner with her. She saw me in the corridor. This was when she fought Heather Hardy. So I was covering that fight for DAZN, and she was like, oh, Ade, come for breakfast. I went for breakfast. Then we was walking past the sneaker shop. I'm saying sneaker for the American guys, trainer shop. And we went in there, and I was ready to buy trainers, So I must have picked out 3 pairs of trainers, and she bought them for me. I was like, what are you doing? You don't need to do this. She's like, no, I got you. And I was like, whoa, okay. So that, yeah. So apart from the fact I like it anyway, that fucking took it up with another one. Eddie Hearn wants a reunion with Canelo Alvarez that last. This Canelo thing, yeah. I did say it keeps changing, didn't I? It just keeps on changing. Now, I don't know who to believe. Sometimes you just got to go to the horse's mouth, and Canelo isn't saying anything, so we don't know. Eddie Reynoso's kind of not saying anything anymore either. Eddie Hearn's saying a few things, but again, I'm not quite sure. But now we're hearing that he wants to fight Berlanga than Munguia. What? I mean, that... And if you want to... Look, if you want to fight Berlanga than Munguia... And again, we go back to this guarantee of $35 million. I don't know how true that is either. But someone at DAZN's got to be like, oh, one second. We can't guarantee $35 million to fight Berlanga. We're not going to make any money on this. In fact, we're going to make a loss and a big loss. I get it. It's great to have Canelo on DAZN, and I understand what it does. I understand all of that stuff now, having worked for DAZN for the last couple of years. Everyone's bouncing because Canelo's there, and I get it. The numbers are great. But the fact is, it's a business, and the business has got to make a profit. And I'm not a business guy, so I don't understand the long-term benefits of Canelo for a short-term loss, if you like. But Berlanga Canelo, I mean, you'd have to sell the shit out of that fight for it to get past 500,000 buys. I mean, you're going to have to really, Eddie's going to have to be on his fucking A game. That's a difficult push. When there are a number of if there was no super middleweights, fine. If there were no middleweights even, fine. But there are plenty. And I think that's the issue. So, no. Munguia, yes. Munguia, I've said it, I did a video the other day. Munguia, yeah, absolutely Munguia. But Berlanga first? I mean, Canelo rarely gets stick. I mean, he does chuck in your odd sort of gimme fight. And we're cool with it because 99% of the time it's a tough one. But Canelo should be prepared for a lot of stick if come May or come in the next couple of weeks he announces he's fighting Berlanga. He should be ready for a lot of stick. And it's going to be very difficult for me because I'm hoping and guessing I'll be working on it to be like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Confident Parker, full of belief ahead of Zhang challenge. Yeah, I'm going to do separate videos on this one because I feel that this needs its own video. Like, I mean, I have to just do a breakdown of this one. I've kind of gone back and forth in my head. Like, sometimes I'll just be sitting here and I'm like picturing how it plays out. And I remember watching Zhang Joyce. Great fights, by the way. I love both of those. Zhang was fantastic. But Joyce's feet was so slow. I mean, Zhang ain't fast. But Joyce made fucking Zhang look like Roy Jones Jr. at times. Joseph Parker's not slow. Joseph Parker's feet are not slow. Joseph Parker doesn't just stay in the pocket like that. Joseph Parker commits, and maybe overcommits a little bit, but Zhang's going to have problems just finding, I think, the target because of Joseph Parker's movement. So I'm swinging to Parker a little bit, but we'll do a separate breakdown on that one. Jordan Gill returns from the depths to find himself again. What that should have said was Jordan Gill returns from the depths of hell to find himself again, because Jordan Gill's been through hell. He's been through hell in the ring. He's been through hell out the ring as well. I like how he's opened up to people about his struggles. I've done the same thing. I've opened up. You do feel a sense of like, when you open up to people, and I'm not comparing myself to Jordan Gill because I don't have to fucking get in the ring and fight. And no one knows what's going on with Jordan Gill as he's getting in the ring. Mentally, he's not been in the right place. But that win over Michael Condon was incredible, away from home. And now he gets, I think, a tougher test in Zelfa Barrett. I think Zelfa Barrett is just a lot tougher than Michael Condon. Not saying he's a better boxer. I think he's a lot tougher. He's certainly a lot bigger. So this is a tough one. These back-to-backs. I mean, he comes through this. I mean, he's on the cusp, which is incredible, of a world title crack. You know, you can get maneuvered, as we all know how it works in boxing. So, yeah, look, good luck to him. Anything else? A bit here about Oscar De La Hoya, saying he doesn't think Canelo will fight Munguia next. That's all well and good, but it can't be Berlanga. And I hope I'm not sounding like a Berlanga hater here, because I'm certainly not a hater of Berlanga, but I think you guys know, like, this is just, no. It's not going to go down well. It's not going to go down well. Not long to go now, is it, till AJ versus Francis Ngannou. That trailer, should we call it a trailer, was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Obviously, look, they've got money to spend, but I mean, even if you don't have the budget they have, there's ways to make these fights look a bit more exciting, the build up to it. You can go outside the box and think of things. And obviously, look, you can't do what they have done. I say they in terms of Saudi Arabia, but you can put on good promos. And the UFC have always done it. UFC for big fights have always said it. Like the Ronda Rousey Holly Holm promo, insane. Paulo Costa Israel Adesanya promo, insane. Conor McGregor's fights, you can do it. And I feel like boxing's just been a bit stale with their promos. Obviously, not anymore. All right, are we done? I think we are done. You know, I just realized, obviously, boxing scene has been bought, hasn't it? So it's a bit different. And I've noticed that it's not... I don't know who the writers are anymore. Look, it will get there, but yeah, I feel like it needs to catch up very quickly with what it was a couple of weeks ago. All right, guys, we are done.